Hey, sweet loves. It's your girl, Simply Jordan, and welcome to this video. I know it's been a long time since I said that, but you forgive me, otherwise you wouldn't be watching, and I'm so grateful for you. And if you're new, hi, I am Simply Jordan, and welcome to my channel. We are just leaving Thanksgiving, and I am so grateful for you. No matter who you are, new, old, friend, foe, family, whoever, I am grateful for you. And seeing that we are just leaving Thanksgiving and transitioning into Christmas, which is crazy. It's December 1st when we're recording this, but I figured let's just do a nice little transition from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So we have this kind of warm, metallic-y gold eye and this really nice red lip. To me, nothing says holiday than gold and red, in my personal opinion. Of course, you got your green and all those other colors, but this just kind of wraps everything together. So that's what we're doing. Of course, like, comment, subscribe. I want to know what your Thanksgiving plans were, how your day was, and what do you want for Christmas? What are you doing for Christmas? Are you staying home? Are you going out of town? Talk to me. I missed you guys so much. And I love you, and I'm grateful for you. But enough of me talking. Let's get into the video. This is the face of somebody who thought she recorded her eyebrows in the first part of this eyeshadow look, but she didn't, so here we are. I'm taking the Warrior 2 palette from Jubilee's Place. I took the medium and the lighter brown shades from this palette and just blended it into my crease, just kind of as a transition slash kind of smoky vibe. But then I'm going into the original Warrior 1 palette. This is like a medium gold shimmer color, and packing that to the majority of my lid out into that outer V, not completely overlapping that deeper brown color we have there, but just kind of blending them together. This brush I'm using is from an old Morphe set that I got for my birthday a long time ago. It's just a small shadow brush, but it's still kind of fluffy. It's not synthetic brushes, I think they're natural brushes. And from that same Warrior 1 palette, there's a lighter gold shade that I'm taking just on that inner corner to brighten it up a bit. I wanted to have some kind of like dimension ombre type vibe going on here, and I'm taking pretty much the flip side of that same brush and just packing it onto that inner corner. You see it a little more there, but that's all I'm doing there. And I'm going back into that dark brown from the Warrior 2 palette and just blending a little more out into that outer V, and just bringing the whole eye look together. And these lashes are from iLore. This is a 60 style in Jubilee. Really long, full lashes. Some of my favorite ones. I actually really like iLore lashes. And this is the e.l.f. Poreless Primer. They have one that's in a putty form in a jar, but this is just a regular one that comes with a pump. Either way, e.l.f. primers are pretty lit. So I'm just taking that and spreading it all over my face, concentrated mostly underneath my eyes and around my nose, because that's where most of my oil and everything comes through. But I'm just taking an even coat and putting that all around. My foundation today is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is one of my favorite foundations. Like, it's really, really great. And I'm just taking a small, this is actually a concealer brush, but it's kind of big for a concealer brush. So I'm just taking it and spreading it out over my face first. And then I'm going to go with a different brush. This is actually a brush from Ulta Beauty brand, and just blending that out. What I love about this foundation, and I think what I'm just looking for when it comes to foundations now, is that it gives me coverage and the full glam look that I want without it looking really heavy. Before, I used to really like super matte, full coverage foundations, but as I've gotten older and experimented with different textures and different finishes of foundations, the more natural and even radiant but still full coverage foundations just look so good on my skin. And it just makes sense. Like, I'm still covered. I'm grateful for having good skin, but it's definitely nice to have a foundation to go along with that. And this is their natural creamy concealer, which is also really great. The one thing I don't like about this concealer is how absolutely tiny this brush is, or rather the doe foot, or whatever you want to call it. It's really small. Like, why would you make it that small? But outside of that, the actual product itself, the concealer is really, really nice. Still same full coverage, but not heavy. That's what I'm really, really loving about how I'm doing my base. Is like, it's still full without being heavy and just thick. contouring today with the Morphe Contour Effect Stick in Effect 18. It's cooler than the Juvia's Place stick that I use, which is good for contour, and it's actually not as deep, which kind of continues along the line of the more natural looks that I like to do. It's just a good time. I love just natural looks. Sometimes it doesn't have to be super glam. And this is the Tarte Shade Tape. I want to lighten up the center of my face just a little bit more, just to bring a little more life and, you know, balance, I guess, to the inner corner of my eye. And I'm taking a damp sponge. This is a Sonia Kashuk sponge, and just blending all those colors together. And this really helps for a more polished, brightened under eye section in pretty much all the places where you put that concealer. Now that the under eye is completely blended out, we're going to take it down to the chin, down the bridge of my nose, of course, and that forehead, making sure both of those colors are mixed together with that damp sponge. I've tried blending out concealer with a dry sponge too, but for me, I can definitely tell the difference between a wet and a dry sponge, and I just like a wet sponge better. And blending out, this is a small angled powder brush, and blending out that cream contour. Again, that was the Morphe contour stick in Effect 18, and just taking that around my forehead, pushing that into my hairline and around my face. I didn't always contour my face, and I'm actually really glad that I did, because it just helps add a little more shape and chiseled look. And the under eye powder, this is from Juvia's Place in Kalahari. Definitely one of my favorite under eye powders. I have a few under eye powders that I really like, but this is definitely, if not the #1 spot, it's for sure just top tier. It's really finely milled yellow powder. It's just really nice. And then to set the rest of my face, this is Black Radiance powder. It's a loose powder, of course, in Honeymoon. And this is a Real Technique. This is the Insta Pop face brush. And I'm just setting all over. I actually saw somebody do this for the first time. I used to use this for my liquid foundation, but using it for powder is kind of like really bomb, because it helps. One, it's not as messy because it's not just a dome brush. I don't know. I would say just try it and see how you like it, because it's a great brush for setting your face with powder. Bronzer. This is the Morphe Glamabronze powder, and I think the name is Phenom is the name of the color. But either way, just taking another angled, I think this is technically a blush brush, but I like angled brushes for contouring. But I'm just using that and putting it slightly above on my cheekbones where I put that contour shade, and setting around my forehead. This is definitely a technique I want to tweak, but I still like the way it finishes. Just like the nice warmth that it adds to the parameters of my face. And taking that same powder on a smaller shadow angled brush and contouring my nose. I don't really care for using a cream contour on my nose anymore. Every now and then, if I want a more dramatic look, I will. But nowadays, I just like using my bronzer and taking that down the sides of my nose and kind of into the top of my brow to kind of blend that all seamlessly together. And for blush, I went back into Warrior 2 palette. I think I ended up going with that lighter pink shade. I can't remember what it's called. Of course, again, I'll put all those colors and details down in the bottom. And just putting on my blush. I like taking it up into my temples a little bit. For me, it seems to lift the look more than just sitting on top of my cheeks. And I haven't reached for this highlighter in a long time. This is Dosa Colors Extreme Highlighter, and the color is Royal Hotness. I'm not sure if the brand carries this color anymore, but I definitely have to go light-handed with this because baby girl is beaming. And I'm just taking that and hitting those high points, point of my nose, chin, cheekbones, nostrils, you know, all my usual places, and just adding that nice little glow. Because I have so much gold in my eyes, I didn't want to OD on my highlights, but y'all know I want ET. What's up, homie? I'm still here. So just going over that with a kind of pointed brush to highlight everywhere. And I'm going back into that Warrior 2 palette, the darker brown color, and just subtly smoking that into my lower lash line. I didn't want to go too dark under there, but I just took this pointed eyeshadow brush and just kind of drug that color along my lash line just to kind of bring it a more rounded look. Rather than having all the color and impact on top, bringing that darker color down into that lower lash lid just, you know, just kind of rounded it out. Brightening up that inner corner with that shape from the Warrior 1 palette with a very small detail brush. Setting my face with the Morphe Luminous setting spray. Another one that I really like. I actually like using this mixed with my foundation. Like when I first put it on, spraying this and then mixing my foundation with this, then using it as a setting spray. But either way, it's a good time. Mascara, this is the MAC Magic Extension Mascaras. Actually really good. And my lips. I actually mixed two colors. This is Vino and Beso. Y'all know Beso is definitely my favorite red, but I want to go a little deeper. Not quite wine, but not a bright red either. So I just took both colors and mixed them together to kind of give this more of a brick red. And I was gonna fill my lips entirely at first with this color, but I kind of like it to be just around the outside, a little fuller than a liner, but not exactly the full lip. And I'm just filling that color in, and then I end up taking Beso, the bright red by itself, and popping it right in the center, which is what you see me doing right now. And see, it kind of gives a slightly ombre, kind of deeper around, you know, the perimeter and a little bright in the center, and just kind of brought it all together. And she's done. Guys, I missed y'all so much. My skin is popping, and I'm here for it. Love the lash, love the lip, just everything. But thank you guys again so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know your holiday plans. I am genuinely interested and I want to know what's on your Christmas list. But talk to me. I will see you guys real soon. I got a few more looks hopefully coming up to you before Christmas gets here. But either way, I am here and I appreciate your life. See you soon. Bye-bye.